Let's talk about something very important. So we have a viewer who's really pissed because basically she has tried to get a loan from PenFed and she had been denied all the time. You are speaking about 4 failed attempts. So she's really pissed, and she does make good money. She has a relatively high FICO score, so you're looking at 671. So the whole thing here is that why the 4 failed attempts? So that's what we are actually going to talk about into this conversation. So I want you to stick around, and most importantly, I want you to pitch in. I want you to contribute to the conversation. You want to give her advice because this could happen to anybody in the country. So stick around till the end of today's conversation. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll. In today's conversation, we have a viewer who's really pissed right now because her 4th PenFed loan application just got denied again. So you were looking at 4 failed attempts. So she's asking why. She makes good money, and her FICO score is 671. So what's really going on here? We need to explain to viewers, our beloved and very smart viewers, so they have a clear idea of what's really going on so they can pitch in if they want to. So we are speaking about Tanisha R. Tanisha, I know you are listening right now. We're not going to divulge your last name, but we're just going to say you are 37 years old. You live in Everett, Washington State. Okay, you are a female, of course, Tanisha. And so you live in Everett, Washington State. We're just going to show the picture of this. It's a beautiful state. It's a beautiful city, by the way, Everett. If you got a chance, just visit that. So we're going to show the first screenshot and the second screenshot, but that's just a digression here. So Tanisha is actually a nurse. She makes really good money. You are looking at $98,000 a year, which is great money, especially if you live in Washington State, which is a state where cost of living is not really that high, once you get out of Seattle and the big cities. So if you live in Everett with $98,000 a year, that's really good. Tanisha, good for you. The Lord bless you. Your FICO score is 671. It could be improved, okay? You are married with 4 kids, okay? And your last next gen score was 458. And you have a 12 years of experience as a nurse. So that's kind of cool because you are 37 years old and basically you have 12 years of experience. This is really great. And you have been a PenFed member since 2004, which is really great because that's nearly 20 years now. Okay, so we really don't understand why, and we'll explain to you what's really going on here. And but at first, when I look at your credentials, you have stellar credentials. You have excellent credentials. You have been with PenFed for nearly 20 years. You have you make good money. You are married with 4 kids. You have a stable family situation, at least on paper, and I hope that it is so in reality. So really, why? What the F? What's really happening here? Why is PenFed denying your ass again and again and again and again? Let's talk about that. First things first, very important. So you've been denied 4 times. Tanisha, daughter, you've been denied a lot of times. So what are the loan denial letters saying to you? What are those letters saying to you? Because anytime you apply for a PenFed loan, they are supposed to send you a loan denial letter. They need to explain to you, they need to articulate why your loan was denied. So what are those 4 letters saying to you? This is important, and this is important because this is not a rhetorical question you need to answer. Now, you can answer us privately via our email, or you can answer in the comment section below this video, so all our beloved viewers have a clear understanding of what's really going on with you, okay? So what are the loan denial letters saying? And one thing I want to say here, if you were to ask me, there is a big gap, there's a big chasm, a big ass delta between your FICO score and your next gen. Okay, your FICO score is 671, which is decent, which is pretty close to the 850 that you have on the FICO score spectrum. 671 is not really far from 850, but 458, which is your next gen score, is really, really far from the 950, which is if you analyze the next gen score spectrum, 950 is the maximum. So there is a big chasm, there's a big delta, and we need to really understand why we have this dichotomy, why we have this contradiction. Tanisha, talk to me. Why do we have such a gap? Are you sure your next gen score is correct? Where did you get it? When did PenFed communicate that to you? This is very important because this actually constitute the fulcrum of our conversation today, because that delta doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Okay, so please make sure this is the right number. You want to ascertain that number. Make sure this is really the number. And another question I have for you is your husband also a PenFed member? This is really important. So if yes, since when, and what is his next gen score? I mean, does he have the same gap, the same delta, the same dichotomy between his FICO score and his next gen score? So those are really important questions, because and this is why I said this is first things first, because before we actually delve deeper into your situation and try to offer solutions, we need to make sure the fundamentals of the discussions are for real. Okay, nobody is trying to tell us Disney stories and trying to waste our time trying to confuse the hell out of us, because so your next gen being 458 and your FICO score being 671, there's a big question mark right there. Be careful here. Tanisha, daughter, I'm talking to you. I just want you to be careful. The thing here is that before we even start talking about why your PenFed loan has been denied over and over and over, what is your personal situation? I'm talking about your personal financial situation and your families. I mean, you're making good money, that's for sure. You're making close to $100,000. That you're making close to 6 digit. That's really good. And your husband is probably making good money too. I have no idea. I'm just speculating here. But what is your personal financial situation? What is your monetary situation? And for us, when we started analyzing your case, and when we saw the gap between your next gen score and your FICO score, we thought, hey, she probably has a lot of debts. So what is your overall debt level? Talk to me about that, daughter. Because I want to listen to you. I want you to tell me your overall debt level, because you must have a lot of debt. Otherwise, there's no way that you are having you are making good money. And I mean, I will speak about the reasons later on, but you're making such a high amount of salary, high salary amount, and PenFed has been denying your ass for the last 4 times, and you've been with them nearly 20 years. What the F? Really? So what is your CUR? What is your credit utilization ratio? What is your DTI, your debt to income ratio? I bet it is probably high. And so if your DTI is high, I mean, you're not going to be, and it depends on how high is high. If it is like a 70% or 80% or 90%, then PenFed is going to deny your ass over and over and over. No questions asked. Okay, and you have to understand, do you have a history of overdraft with PenFed? In other words, have you run non-sufficient funds event on your account, on your PenFed account? It's really important. And one thing I also want to ask you here is that what is the overall status of PenFed, of your PenFed credit products? So do you have PenFed credit cards? I bet you do. If you've been with them for so many years and you make good money, okay. And do you have direct deposit into your PenFed accounts? Because when we speak about credit, which is the liability side of things, we also need to think about the asset side of things. So your direct deposit, I'll speak about that later on, but your direct deposit will constitute an important piece in your asset situation with PenFed. So bottom line here is that before you need to be careful to make sure that your personal financial situation is on the rosy side, not on the not so rosy side. Solution idea number 1, Tanisha, daughter, I want you to succeed, all right? Sometimes I might be tough with you and whatnot, but I really root for you. I really want you to get that loan that you need and deserve. But we gotta say things to you very clearly. We're not here to razzle dazzle you. We're not here to confuse the hell out of you. We are being strict, straight up. We are using country logic, what I call, what my old peeps used to call country logic. Okay, so you need to know the main reasons for the loan denial. In other words, I asked you before that PenFed should have communicated to you the loan denial reasons on the letter they sent you. So overall, in general, when your loan is rejected, this could be because your credit score is too low, which is not really the case because you are at 671, which is not bad really. I mean, 671 is really great, okay? Because think about it, when the lender views your personal loan application, it commonly considers your FICO credit score, among other factors like your income. So if your debt to income ratio was too high during the applications, PenFed might actually reject your application. Because the thing is, and I have said this before, it's not about how much you are making, it's how much of a disposable income you get. Because if you have a high income, but you have high expenses and high debts, you're not going to have a high DTI. That's why you see a lot of athletes, a lot of top athletes, a lot of NBA players, a lot of basketball, a lot of football players, a lot of baseball players. They make millions of dollars in their prime time, only to go bankrupt if something happens, because their cost of living is really high. If you try to borrow too much, PenFed might also reject your ass. So you didn't say how much you are asking for, but hey, listen, if you're making $98,000 a year and you are asking PenFed to lend you $75,000 a year, that's a little bit too much. Okay, and so if your income was insufficient or unstable, now the thing is, you said you are a nurse, you are making $98,000 a year. Is your income stable? In other words, do you work for a hospital? Do you work for a medical institution? Do you work for yourself? Do you work what kind of job do you have? Full time, part time, seasonal? Because you just said how much you're making a year. Okay, and if you didn't meet the basic requirements of PenFed loans, you might not be approved. If your application was missing information, you might not be approved. If your loan purpose did not meet the lender's criteria, you will not be approved. So I'm just giving you here a constellation of reasons why PenFed might have rejected your applications over and over and over and over. Solution idea number 2. You really want to go back, take a step back. And you need to build your credit score before you apply. The next time you apply for a loan at PenFed, please beef up your credit score a little bit. I mean, usually, all things held constant. If you have 671, you should qualify for a PenFed loan. They might not give you 25K or 50K, but they will probably give you 10 grand, or sometimes they will bless you with 15 grand. I mean, 671 with the amount of money you make, that's good. That's really good already. Okay. And the thing here is that, when we speak about you actually reducing your FICO, you want to look for ways to increase your income or pay down debt, or do this 2 things simultaneously. I mean, as a nurse, you probably could take more jobs. Who knows? You can be an on-call nurse making money on the side to increase your income, okay? Or you can actually request a more realistic loan amounts. That's why I'm asking you, Tanisha. The thing is, you haven't told us how much you have been requesting for the last four times you applied. You just said I'm just tired of being rejected all the time. But how much are you requesting? I mean, if you are requesting a 6-digit loan amount, you're not going to get it, because at 671 and 98K a year, I mean, that's gross income. If we actually factor into the equation your net income, you probably be around 70 grand. So if you're making 98 and you have 78, you have 70 grand take home income, and when we have no idea what your debts are. If you have a high DTI, that's not good for you. So you want to request a more realistic loan amount, and also try to apply with a cosigner. I mean, your husband is there. Is his FICO good or bad? Again, these are not rhetorical questions. I need answers. really need answers from you, okay? So I want you to reply to us via email or in the comment section, okay, below this video. It's really important. So you've never said to us if you have applied independently in the last four times, or you have applied with your husband, okay? And try to put up collateral, for instance. I mean, putting up collateral can actually increase your chances of being approved from a PenFed loan or any other loan for that matter. Okay, and the most important thing I want to say to you is that try to pre-qualify with PenFed. Tanisha, PenFed, when it comes to their loans, they have a pre-qualification link, and please go through that first so you have a clear idea how much you can expect if you are approved. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sorted Kiwi Show. We are also having a conversation about a case that Tanisha, actually a 37 female living in Everett, Washington State, has actually given to us, and she is pissed because PenFed has denied her loan application for the 4th time, and she really can't take it anymore. And so, solution idea number 3: you want to check your FICO score to make sure nothing is there that you don't know about. See, you have told us that your FICO score is 671. Okay, but how sure are you? Because the thing is, a lot of folks think that they have a certain FICO score, but they checked their FICO score 6 months ago. They checked the FICO score 9 months ago. And since then, they haven't actually applied for a loan, or a credit card for that matter. So they think, I'm fine. I am a 671. But a FICO score is a dynamic thing. It moves up and down, okay? So you want to check your FICO score again. So you want to go to a website called annualcreditreport.com. It is a website that offers a free credit reports, okay, to anybody, by the way. And it pulls data from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And remember that PenFed primarily pulls Equifax. So, but the thing is, there is a temptation here to only focus on Equifax. But no, you want to do all three, because you never know if your Equifax is 671, but your TransUnion is a 430. There's a big delta there. There's a big gap there. So, that's why we advise folks to actually always monitor all 3 credit bureaus. Very important. So you need to seek your FICO score. And the most important question here is, how often should you check your FICO score? Well, as a rule of thumb, we tell all our clients to actually check their credit score once a week. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes. It doesn't take 2 minutes. You just check your FICO score. If everything is right, okay, you just move on. And if you can't do once a week, you can do once every 2 weeks. So bi-weekly, okay? And you can monitor your FICO score continually. There are a lot of websites out there. PenFed provides free credit score monitoring. So does NavyFed, Chase, Discover. There is a large constellation of credit card issuers who provide continuous credit score monitoring, okay? And remember, it's important to check all 3 credit reports, but you want to focus again on Equifax. I'm not saying this is the only one you should focus on, but at the end of the day, PenFed pulls primarily Equifax. So they will be looking at the data in that specific credit report. So pay extra attention to make sure there's nothing wrong on that report. Solution idea number 4. You want to improve your banking relationship with PenFed. Oh yeah. See, the thing here is that, the fact that there is a big delta between your next gen score at 458 and your FICO score at 671 tells us that you have had problems with PenFed. Because normally your FICO score would have epitomized all your public information, right? It would have reflected all your public information. But your PenFed next gen score not only reflects your publicly available information, but it also it also epitomizes your relationship with PenFed. Okay, so things like if you have had non-sufficient funds advance with PenFed, if you have had payment issues on your credit cards or loans and whatnot, so those could affect detrimentally. Those could affect adversely your PenFed Next Gen internal score. Okay, so when we speak about improving your banking relationship with PenFed, and this is what we call multi-product relationship here on this show, I want you to have a checking account. I mean, you've been with them since 2004, so I'm sure you have checking accounts already. But the question is, do you have the Access America checking accounts? You need to have that one because it has some benefits on the credit card side of things. Okay, and you also need to think about having savings accounts. When we talk about you guys are married, you have 4 kids with your husband. I mean, you can open savings accounts for the kids. You can open custody accounts for the kids. What I'm trying to say here is that you want to enlarge how much money you park at PenFed. This will be very important when it comes to them reviewing your account. Okay, you want to have IRAs if possible. So you try to have IRAs and individual retirement accounts. You can also, and this is really important, you want to set direct deposit. Direct deposit is so quintessential to your relationship with PenFed or any other financial institution for that matter. Okay, and what you want to do is, if possible, you want to apply for the loan at a branch. Because I think you have been applying electronically in the last 4 years, or not 4 years, in the last 4 times you applied. So now it's about time to switch things a little bit and speak to somebody live before you apply for the loan per se. This will help you actually gauge your chances of approval even before you apply for the loan. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I want to thank our beloved viewers and listeners. And Tanisha, I know you have been listening to us. Listen, if you got more questions, you can put them in the comment section below, or you can just drop us an email, not a problem, okay? And we are inviting our beloved viewers, very smart viewers, to also pitch in. If you have something to contribute, please just share it so we can all learn and grow. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.